Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Sunday Breakfast Bankroll, May 29th, 2022. I hope everyone's had a great Memorial Day weekend to start, but always remember why we have Memorial Day weekend. Yes, cookouts, barbecues, beaches, clam boils, lobster rolls, kick off the summer is always great. But remember the people that have served us, the people that have given us our freedom to give us the opportunity to do and be who we want to be. Crazy, crazy day of weekend sports. First, the ECSI VIPs. The eyes have been great. I've been not goofing around. I've been adding, subtracting half units, full units, first five full games. Yesterday was on the right side of three games and on the wrong side of one and bad on the other one. First of all, Marlins first five. Uh, when you bet the Marlins, you either can't watch it and just pray. I mean, they got guys on base. Alcantara spun a gem. We get bases loaded, no outs, and get one run, but it was enough. We cashed that one. Rangers full unit, box to wire. IGOR and company head to Carolina now, where no road team has won either series against Carolina. It's kind of comical. There for game seven. So that was 2-0. Angels first five. Give up a run in the first. Could have been a lot worse. And then pitcher settles down, and bottom of the fifth, we scrape two across, cash that one. So that starts the day 3-0. And the last game, just they didn't show. I mean, they had two errors early. We had Astros first five, Astros full game, expected a bounce back. Like the slight edge with Urquidy, Gilbert has not done well against this team, and the Astros were just an absolute no-show there. So first five full game loss. So overall, just in games 3-1, but with a half unit, full unit, little profit. Depends on if everyone is just grabbing a game and just saying, Jeff, I'm going to play one unit across the board, whatever. I'm trying to give everyone some options there. Full slate of MLB today. One game in South Beach. Celtics opened at 2.5. There are some threes on the board. So if you're going with the Celtics tonight and you want to do the spread, I'd shop and buy now. I'm fully expecting that to be a full three by tip-off. If you like the Celtics today, I'm just going to suggest play the money line. Don't get caught in case they win by one or two and you just got a little cheap there. So keep an eye on that. And then tomorrow, obviously, Carolina and the Rangers. But without further ado, let's go to the Windy City, where his White Sox took one on the chin to the Cubs yesterday. And Mr. Keuchel has left the building. We've been talking about that for a while. But without further ado, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my friend. Happy Memorial Day weekend here in the Windy City. It's been a beautiful day, beautiful sports action. So I'm happy to be on here with you on Sunday. Happy to dive into what we got going on today. I think the only thing you didn't mention, we've got the old, at least in my wheelhouse, Charles Schwab tournament going on, final round here today, and then outside of my wheelhouse, the old Indy 500. So should be a hell of a Sunday afternoon of sports action. So I'm ready to dive in, my friend.
Well, it's funny you brought up golf, and now every time Scheffler's on the leaderboard, I think of you. I mean, we go back to January and February, and you were talking about getting early action that Scotty would win a major and then Masters money. He's been boomer bust, doesn't make the cut in the major last week, and he says, all right, I've had enough. And right there atop of the leaderboard, I would have to say, a big favorite to close this one out. It's funny. I'm in a season long where they broke it down to 5 or 6 columns, and you picked one from each column. And my second team was my Scotty Scheffler team. There's like 400 teams in there, and at one point I was second overall with the Scheffler team. And so in my one and done last week, which I was like 4,100 out of 4,200. I had Justin Thomas, and I got the 2.1 million, and so I climbed up like 2,500 spots. So this week I'm on Jordan Spieth. So if Scheffler can't win it, I'm rooting for Spieth.
Spieth, yeah, I mean, we don't know. I don't know if you want to dive into it already as far as some value on that action. Obviously, Scheffler's got a 2-stroke lead over his, the guys behind him. We always talk about, let your eyes roll down a little bit past that. I'm doing a little bit because, I honestly don't know. I'm biased at this point with Scottie Scheffler. I'm not betting on Scottie Scheffler today. On certain books, you can find betting without Scottie Scheffler, and you got Jordan Spieth 23-1. I took a little sprinkle on him, and Mito Pereira, a little redemption from last week, 24-1 to action without Scottie Scheffler. Which at this point, before the weekend started, I probably wouldn't have done anything for him. Maybe some hangover from last week, but now that he's obviously sitting in position here on Sunday. Maybe a little Sunday redemption, bad taste in his mouth. He comes out firing. So, I found a little value outside of the Scottie Scheffler. But I think if you're interested in Scottie falling a little bit, and, those guys I think were 40-1, 50-1 odds. Obviously a nice payout if something crazy happens.
Yeah, that we've been trying to bang in everyone's head. When you come to Sunday, let's say you didn't play pre-flop, you didn't jump in on Thursday night, Friday night, even Saturday. What you have to do when you wake up this morning is you got to take the leader off the board. You have to remove him. I don't care if it was Tiger Woods back in his prime.
Right.
You have to remove him. And then you got to take the first block and then have your eyes go down to the next block. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about Lee, who comes from charging from the pack. And then the following week, there was someone else that came flying off the pace. So that's where you get your values, your 40s, your 35s, your 50s. The mind cannot wrap around the fact that I'm 7 shots back. But when you take the leader off the board and you post the number, that's where the value is.
Right. And I mean, this season especially, almost just about every week, there's at least, as far as the value of doing it, it's absolutely there. You talked about Lee, obviously had JT coming from out of nowhere from a lot of people's eyes last week. And then, I'm blanking on, there's another one in between those two that I'm drawing a blank on, but definitely it's been happening. So the value is obviously there on these tournaments. And I think maybe the hesitation for today was that it would be that anytime Scottie Scheffler's been in this position, he's kind of taking care of business. So that's kind of why I went with the betting without Scottie Scheffler and found some value, but it could absolutely still happen again today.
Yeah, and going back to last week, that's a good point on JT. Is there was no way in hell no one could get their eyes that far because he was a million shots back. In my mind, I thought a posted, he had shot 267s. I thought if he could have posted that 66, if he could have posted that -6, that would get there. Obviously, having Mito dropping back to 3 shots, which he didn't until 18. And then obviously the rest is history. Another name, I don't have the card in front of me. Tell me how many shots back Patty Reed is.
He's right there. That's absolutely, he's 4 back of Scheffler. Him and Varner. Varner's 3 back. That would be another name I would watch for. But yeah, Patrick Reed's 4 back. He's right there.
Yeah, Harold Varner III was the name that all the shops were talking about pre-flop. He was the guy in the weeds. He got, I think he tied first round leader there. Patty Reed's one of these guys that's just an absolute grinder, and if he puts it all together, he is so overdue. As bad, he's almost an auto bet every week because he wins at least one weekend a year, and you're going to get your 35, 40-1. It's going to pay for the other tournaments.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I would say, especially when he's kind of hovering in this pack like this, like if it doesn't happen today, then I think, he's probably got some value coming up. The more, solid rounds he puts together, that typically is nice momentum going forward. So, I know we got some big tournaments coming up, so he could be a name to be looking for next couple of weeks coming up.
All right, let's dive into South Beach, getting jiggy with it. The Miami Heat, I talked at length for the last 3 days saying long holiday weekend, the NBA is never dark. I talked to a lot of people, even our VIPs on Thursday night saying, hey, Dallas with a sprinkle plus 250 was definitely worth the effort. The Celtics were favored by 9, closed at 8.5. Most likely they were going to get it done. Warriors say thanks, but no thanks. We'll take care of business. We want the full week off. The Celtics, listen, the Celtics played okay. Jimmy Butler was just a man amongst
Yeah.
kids. No pun intended there. He was just money. Um, I go back to the game 99-99, less than 2 minutes left. Jaylen Brown at the line clanks both free throws, and then the Heat went on a 5-0 run. The rest was
Yeah.
history there. Thoughts of South Beach tonight and Will Smith getting jiggy with it?
Yeah, I mean, as far as that last game as well, you also had nice games, kind of how we talked about on what was that Friday? I think it was leading up to it with Lowry and Max Strus needing to step up to even put themselves in a position where Jimmy Butler can be that guy that puts them over the edge. And I think there's something to be said for Jimmy Butler when he posts a game like this has not really duplicated it in the next game up. So I don't know if we should be expecting that today. I'm not. I don't know what action I'd be taking in this one. I've still got my Celtics to win the series at plus money, so I think I'm probably just sitting on that for today. But I expect them to win. This Heat team hasn't had a single game this series, and it's been not until last series against the Sixers where they won back-to-back games. So. I'm expecting the Celtics to step up today. This whole series has been basically been a window where one team has a terrible game and then they come back and slap the other team in the mouth, and then it's rinse and repeat through until today, Game 7. So that's kind of what I expect. Expect the Celtics to get this one done. But as you mentioned, I would stay away from that -3. I could absolutely seeing this be a coin flip on the spread coming down to the last second as far as on the spread. So. I'm going to be sitting on, just the Celtics to win this game tonight for sure.
Go back to the opening number when the series started. Vegas made a statement. Celtics no home court. Celtics -170. So now you got a 2.5 now with 3. The under over now opened at 197, now down to 196.5. Basic math would tell me right now you're looking at 100-97 game right now. That's what Vegas was initially telling you. First one to 100 wins here. Celtics, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on it though. 12-1 after a loss, and they've been excuse me, coming off a loss, been winning by almost 20. I would expect the boys to come out guns blazing. The Heat will have to withstand the initial onslaught by the Celtics. I'm an hour away. I'm not flying to South Beach, and I was not at the Garden on Friday. Therefore, I am not a curse. I am not a mush. If a gun to my head, I think it's going to be a pretty decent battle. Both, they got to keep Butler in check. Here's a name that I'm a little afraid of because he's been real quiet lately, and that's Bam. I think if Bam gets off early, maybe gets Al or the Time Lord in a little foul trouble, Jimmy is going to beat Jimmy. How healthy is Lowry? It's going to be Hart. I think Hart is going to come down to it. Would I be shocked if the Heat won? No, I wouldn't. I think you're going to get Spoelstra versus the Celtics rookie coach. Yes, Spoelstra's been in this position before. Big stage, bright lights, best man standing, moves on to Golden State on Thursday.
Yeah, and I mean we've talked about the resilience because they're loaded with experience. This team is what I think people are not giving them enough credit for. So I wouldn't shock me either. I think the Celtics are the better team, but they played decent defense against this team, and Jimmy Butler just did whatever he wanted to the entire game there in Game 6. So I think that probably is going to take that again. Maybe not 47 and 9 and 8 from Jimmy, but another 35 plus point per game performance from Jimmy might be the recipe to get this one done tonight.
MLB full slate before we turn the card over to you. Cubs, Stroman versus Cease. Cease has shown some chinks in his armor of late. He did get lit up a few games ago. I think it was against the Yankees. And then the Red Sox came in and lit him up pretty good. A Stroman for the Cubs that it doesn't matter which uniform he's putting on. I'm never on the right side of Stroman. Cease, I would look for a bounce back. Kind of what I'm surprised here is the opening number was 165. The corrected number at Circa is 147. I always talk about these inner city rivalries, these 2-game series. Whoever lost the first game always come back and bet them the second game. It's usually a split, and then they move on.
Yeah, and that's where I would be leaning today. Obviously, I'm biased, but I'd be optimistic with the Dylan Cease bounce back from here. The issue that I have with taking this price is that the White Sox are clueless against right-handed pitchers right now, and that's where obviously the bounce back angle. I agree with you. I think they do bounce back today with Cease on the mound, needing a win here to get them. I mean, they're under 500, teetering back and forth on a daily basis, but I with that price, I'm just not confident enough in this offense when they're facing right-handed pitchers. I just saw the lineup card. I guess rightfully so because nobody else is really commanding it. But Jake Berger is in the 3-hole today. Yesterday we had Josh Harrison in the 2-hole. I mean, with Luis Robert on COVID, we on the COVID list right now, the firepower that we have is just not there. Jake Berger's had, I think, a home run in a couple games back to back, and now that's good enough to get him in the 3-hole. That's all it's taken right now to rise yourself through the lineup. So I would be, if I'm going anywhere, I think the White Sox win this one. But the offense is leaving a lot to be desired right now.
I'm going to bring up Sports Insights for today. You can go to sportsinsights.com. I think they have a 3 or 4 day free trial to get these spreadsheets that I have right here. If you're looking for a cheaper route, they do have the Action Network now, full of insights here for just this alone. They give you the umpires, they give you the lineup, they give you the weather report, the crosses for people being in or out, opening lines, ticket numbers, money lines, over-unders. I have up circa FanDuel, DraftKings, points by 50 sports books that you can follow and watch along. But the board is yours, my friend.
All right. We got, I don't have any thoughts on it. We got one starting in a few minutes here. Giants and Reds. Giants, we're pretty hefty public side on that one. I've got a few bounce back angles today in the MLB that I'm interested in. Let's see. First one, Blue Jays and Angels. Barrios and Sandoval in this one. Angels minus 130, 135-ish. Looks like that number's been going up. They are the public side, which might be a little concerning to some people. But if I'm not mistaken, they've got 4 straight losses under their belt, and Sandoval's been really, really solid. Barrios has been a little hit and miss for the Blue Jays. I'm interested in the Angels today to kick things off.
I was fortunate enough to have the first 5 yesterday. It was a sweat. They got 2 across for me. Surprising, Berrios is the wild card. Obviously, here you don't know which one you're going to get, but you'll know real early if you get the good Berrios or bad Berrios. Kind of surprised, like you just said, an opening number. Angels slight favorite now. They're pushing it up. It just moved on at the Nugget to minus 130. Yeah. It's at 136. At FanDuel and 135 at DraftKings. Paying a pretty decent tax there for a Jays team. As you talked about your White Sox, the Jays offensively have kind of sort of been the same.
Yeah, and I think, the record, they're treading water a little bit better, and they've had a couple pitchers stepping up a little bit more. But, I expect this Angels team to bounce back in today's spot. I actually caught it. I didn't realize, I was drawing a blank on what I caught them at and how long ago. It was about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. I had them at minus 125 on FanDuel, and now it's up to, like you said, about minus 136. So it is going up. But, yeah, that's one bounce back spot I was looking at today.
I agree.
Next one up, another bounce back. Brewers and Cardinals should be a good one today. Burns and Michaelis. Another bounce back spot for the Brewers. I think they've got 2. The Cardinals have taken 2 out of the 3 the last 2 days here from the Brewers. Have been pretty solid games. I trust Burns, and this is a spot where you got a guy in Burns that you're looking for a big win against a divisional opponent. Paying a little tax on the road, but I like Burns in a bounce back spot here today to get them a win here.
It's funny, the Milwaukee hadn't announced their starter, and Michaelis has been pretty solid for the Cardinals. Yet I saw Milwaukee overnight minus 130, minus 135, and I was like, oh, one of the big boys are coming, and in comes Burns. Big spot for Milwaukee. We had St. Louis first game of the series, full game, and we just couldn't get it going. Down 2-0, and then down 4-2. Couple guys on made it 4-3. They just couldn't cross the finish line. I like where your eyes are here. I think Milwaukee is a good bounce back spot, especially with Burns. I want to tiptoe in the first 5 here, and then definitely look for them to get the win and close out with a 2-2 split and probably Hader or Williams comes in for the close.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll kick this next one kind of back to you. I was interested in a bounce back spot, but wanted to get your thoughts on it as far as the Red Sox losing 2 out of the first 3 here to the Orioles. Zimmerman and Pivetta today, obviously paying a lot of tax, and I know you don't like always taking home teams with a run line spot, but any confidence that the Red Sox put the hurt down on the Orioles today, or is this going to be closer to a toss up?
No, I like your thought. Here's always in the back of my mind. I'll say it for the 1 millionth and one time. I have egg on my face when it comes to Rich Hill, Michael Walker, and Pavetta. Pavetta has been lights out, and I'm just waiting for that shoe to fall off. And this Baltimore team has been pesky as hell.
Yeah.
When you think, on Friday we had an 8-2 lead, and they outscored us 10-0. Doubleheader yesterday, they get the split. Lefty coming in. It'll be interesting to see the lineup Cora puts out there. Usually a day where JD needs a Sunday off or something like that. I would definitely lean Pavetta and Red Sox minus the hook first 5.
Yeah, I think I like first 5 better than the full game as well. It's interesting. This whole series has had over unders right around 10, and the 2 out of the first 3 have gone under. So I'm interested to see if that evens out today as well. 2 more that I was interested in chatting about: Yankees and the Rays. Yankees on the road here. I didn't realize Yankees are actually they have not lost when they're in the underdog spot this year. They're 3-0, and I was looking. I think it's their going back to last year. They've won 7 in a row as an underdog. Severino on the mound versus McClanahan. Awesome pitching matchup. Unless you're looking for regression from one of these guys, Severino has been really, really, really good the last 2. And I believe we've got the Yankees in a bounce back spot as well. Am I crazy to be thinking the Yankees in a dog spot here, or is that a trap for me?
First thought process would be Sunday. I'm getting the Yankees at plus money.
That was my red flag.
And McClanahan has been nails. He has just been lights out. And that price tag is just going up. Wow. I got egg on our face earlier this weekend on the Rays. I stayed away the second games. Cortez had been lights out. And, of course, Cole, big favorite over Kluber. They lay the egg there. Yeah. You know what? Gun to my head, I'm going to eat the tax and chalk, and I think McClanahan gets it done.
Yeah, it does seem like a trap. Holiday weekend, Sunday, Yankees are an underdog. Oh my gosh! And I've been all over McClanahan all season long as well. And then the last one, kind of a bounce back, different angle a little bit though. Definitely some lesser teams in this one. Rockies and Nationals split yesterday. Rockies got the second one. But less of a bounce back angle from here and more. I've found some value in fading the Rockies on the road versus right-handers. It's been very, very, very bad, horrifically bad for the Rockies on the road versus righties, and that's another situation we've got here today. In addition to that, the Nationals have had some solid success against Freeland for the Rockies there. So. That one went up a little bit, paying about minus 115 to 125, somewhere in that range for the Nationals, but that's one of the early games that I'm going with as far as the Nationals as well there.
As we were speaking, Nolan Arenado doubtful today, so that helps your Brewers play right there. Going into Colorado, Washington, shout out to Mr. SoCal D-Gen out this morning as always. It's Kyle Freeland, bet the under day. It opened at 9. It is 9.5 at DraftKings, so if you want to follow the trend there, you can jump on that on DraftKings minus the 9.5. I have Victor Robles in my high stakes fantasy baseball league, and thank God he finally woke up. 6 RBIs yesterday, 2 stolen bases in the total for the day in the doubleheader. I like where your eyes are. The Rockies team is funny. I don't trust, obviously, anything about their pitching, especially their back end. The Washington team, you just don't pitch to Soto. Let someone else beat you.
Right.
I definitely the pitching matchup is kind of intriguing to me. Freeland has shown flashes. Gray has shown flashes. Tough game for me. I think I'd be more apt to try to take a flop at the under, but I understand where your eyes are.
Yeah. This total for me, I love it. And honestly, the thoughts yesterday's games were so bizarre that I'm keeping myself out. I got the first game, Nationals money line, and then it was like a rodeo circus, bull ride trying to watch that game, and it was like 3-0 Rockies first inning. Nationals come back with 4, then the Rockies get 3, and I think it was like 13-7 in the finale of the first game, and then 3-2 for the second one. So I'm gonna stay away just because the series has been goofy from the total. But these teams are just a circus. I think maybe staying away in general might be a decent thought process.
It's funny. I suck at totals. I tell everyone that. And as I
Yeah.
was bringing it over to Scott to wrap it up, I was like, if this game isn't an over, shoot me now. And then, like you said, it was 3-0, then 4-3, then it was 6. You had the
Yeah.
over, I think, by the third inning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And speaking with unders, total over unders, the only one I didn't mention that I actually was interested in, this is kind of the last one I have thoughts on, but the Sox and Cubs, going back to that one, I'd be shocked if this one is I think it's going to be first 1-3 in this one with what I was saying about the Sox against righties. I think Dylan Cease is due for a really nice bounce back here in a big, I don't know, not a must win situation, but you're definitely feeling a little sense of urgency in the rivalry. But I'd be surprised if any of these teams goes off for more than 4 or 5 runs. So I'm also, if this one is an under, I'd be very surprised from at least a very close to the situation perspective.
It's funny. The Circa opened at 8 under minus 120. Overnight correction now 7 over 115. I have a 7.5 at DraftKings under minus 120. So they are saying first 1-4 wins this game. There, I do like Cease in a bounce back spot. It's going to be interesting. My eye test the rest of the way. Wheeler Bassett intrigues me. That looks like it's the late game. Haven't had a lot of success with Wheeler first fives, just filed for no run support. And when they get 3 for him, he gives up 3. Bassett's been a workhorse. Mets a short number minus 112 there. Cleveland and Detroit does intrigue me. As Scotty says, Trevor McKenzie, known as Sticks, opens up at minus 159, now 158. I would look at Cleveland first 5 money line, and that is not Erod, the Erod Rodriguez from the Sox there.
Right.
That's another E Rodriguez. Any luck, any love for the Guardians today?
I think so. Rodriguez, I'm blanking on what his actual first name is. I think this is start number 3 for him. All 3 would be in the division. The first 2 did not go very well for him. I don't think he made it through 5. So I think you're spot on with that one as far as some value there. Not to mention this Tigers team. I mean, I think everyone's kind of given up on them for the most part here at this point, but they're obviously not living up to any type of expectations, if you had any, for them, and obviously they've been pretty rough. So, McKenzie, I like McKenzie in this spot. He's been improving just as a pitcher in general, so I expect him to have a nice day today. I think first 5 is good luck in this one.
Houston is dead to me. I can't believe the egg that they laid yesterday. Not only, I mean, listen, I respect Gilbert. I got a future at him at like 200-1 to win the wins. He's got 5 now. They've just been sleepwalking. They committed 2 errors yesterday. Looked like the bad news Bears. Alvarez, 4 LOBs, his first 2 at bats in the first 3 innings. Just an egg there. It's almost like they're taking the weekend off in Seattle, yet they're minus 145. I'm not a Gonzalez fan at all, but I have no faith in Houston right now.
I'm with you on this one. I think I would be all over them normally because they typically beat the shit out of Marco Gonzalez if you look through his numbers against them. But yeah, this last week, I mean, they're struggling to crack 2-3 runs, let alone put up any nice amount of runs to make you feel confident in laying any tax on what we're seeing here today. So I'm staying away from it in general. It does kind of feel like a trap, but at the same time, they've been really, really good against Gonzalez to the point where it wouldn't shock me if they managed to put up 4 or 5 runs. So I'm just going to stay away from this one altogether.
San Diego is usually great at home on Sundays. I'm a big Gore fan. He's facing Contreras. They're minus 190. Obviously, the tax is too steep there. And Atlanta, Miami, Hernandez versus Freed. You got to pay a big number for Atlanta here. Um, I'm going to just say this as I'm going to pull the board off. And I talk about it all the time, but I just want to reiterate to everyone that's listening that wants to listen here. Sundays to us here at ECSI, the week's complete. You bust your ass, you grind day to day through the first 6 days. Saturday's usually the biggest day of the week, whether it's college football, college basketball, and the slate on Saturdays for MLB is usually the best on the week. You wake up this morning, if you're down 3, 4, 5 units, and your payday is your weekends today.
Yeah.
You look at these big numbers. If you invest unit size on minus 200s, minus 250s, minus 185s, I call it quicksand Sunday for a reason. And it's like our Friday fade the public. It just weird shit happens on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Weird stuff happens on Sundays. So if you're up 2 to 3 units, that doesn't mean you have a free swing here. That means, okay, I'm 24 or 12 hours away from collecting. That's a weird thing. Can you imagine that? I don't have to pay the man this week. It's not entertainment, people. So we do what we call as an action parlay. We'll put 2, 3, 4 legs together. We'll put a quarter, half unit on it, sometimes a unit on it. Get 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 to 1. Have opportunities to hedge if you get the first 2 in. But instead of putting your bankroll at risk and then setting yourself up, to pay the man even more on Monday, and then the mentality is, oh, it's a new week. I can push all in early to get back what you lost last week.
Right, 100%. And I mean, as far as what we talked about, it's golf. If you're up 2, 3 units, it's also maybe, whether it's an action parlay or a tiny little sprinkle on what we talked about as far as some golf long shots or something like that for the day. It's great advice that I think people just kind of see Sunday as just another day, and here we go. We're locked in front of the TV anyways, so we better load up. And you're right. Weird shit happens on Sundays. We've obviously, I mean, it's a holiday weekend especially. It's a weekend for most people, as I think he has said. So with a huge game tonight, wish we had some more NHL action or another basketball game or something. But I think the baseball slate and all the other things will do for us here today.
Exactly. Shout out to Marty Lowe, Roll Tide, brother. You are getting a lot closer to SEC action sooner than later there.
I'm seeing a lot of chatter from I don't know why I keep seeing it, but Texas A&M Twitter is really chattering up. I think because they beat them in baseball, so now they've beaten them in basketball, football, and baseball. So now they think they're on top of the world or something like that. And I think you should check the banner list over there before you poke the bear as far as Alabama's concerned.
Well, and the last thing on the SEC here, if you haven't been following, this Tennessee baseball team is an absolute wagon. You can get probably plus 250, plus maybe 300 at this point for them to win it all. If you go on to TikTok or YouTube, they just had a pitcher throw the hardest pitch ever in baseball for college kids. He was clocked at 105 miles an hour.
Sheesh. I was telling your producer Kiefer, he was asking because he's obviously SEC country. He was asking me if I was into college baseball, and it's like it hasn't really ever been that big in the Midwest. But I guess I don't really know why. I love baseball and I love college sports. So I was watching a little. It was LSU Kentucky SEC baseball yesterday. So I might have to dive in here today if there's any action or this week.
Exactly. So the weekend is here. It's Sunday fun day. I always call it family day. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. We will be dark in the morning. I have a morning obligation. We're going to give Riley the day off, well earned and deserved. He'll be hanging out in the Windy City, maybe a little barbecue or whatever he's got up his sleeve there. Myself and Scott are going to try to come on later at night and get a closing bell in. Me and currently Riley will be back Tuesday morning for the breakfast bankroll, and we'll figure out the rest of the week from there. But today we covered the board. If you do have any questions, you can follow me at EC Sports Invest. You can DM me. You can hit my timeline. You can follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. Ask him away. That's what we're here for. We're here to educate with a little entertainment. We save the monkey business and funny business for gambling, Twitter, ESPN, Fox, wherever you go for your comedy hour there. So without further ado, please remember this. If you are wagering or investing today, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy Family Day. Good luck on your tickets, and we will see you soon.